Good evening, everybody. 7 o'clock. We'll call this meeting to order. I'm Mayor Pro Tem Tim Gould. The Mayor Norton's out of town, and Dr. Wheaton is out of town also, and Councilmember Latonia Hines is calling in and joining us virtually. I'd like to welcome Pastor Dyke Verkeek from the Life Church Assembly of God for invocation and pledge.
Good evening. Would you join me in a time of prayer? Father, we come before you tonight. We're grateful for your goodness and your favor. Pray, Lord, that you'll guide this meeting tonight. I pray a blessing over these leaders. Thank you for wisdom. Thank you for your grace. We're grateful, Lord, to live in this city, in this state, blessed to live in this nation. We thank you, Lord, for your blessing and your covering over this meeting tonight. In your name we ask it. Amen. Would you stand with me and join in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. There's no agenda changes tonight, and we'll have the mayoral report. 1 second. We're going to just getting the Councilmember Hines set up remotely. We had a proclamation earlier this afternoon here in City Council chambers in recognition of National Recovery Month. So it's September. It's an important month for folks who are battling substance abuse issues and are in recovery. We had a state representative, Eric Allen, Cobb County Commissioner Jericho Wilson were here, and we had the honor of presenting a proclamation to representatives on the Council of Substance Abuse. So it's an important issue, and appreciate those folks being here with us today. And next really important item, Councilmember Hines wants to make a statement about the tragic loss of life from our Cobb County Sheriff's deputies a week and a half ago. And Latonia, can you hear us?
I think so. If you give me just a second here, I'm trying to get set up so you can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. All right. And so what I'd like to do, for those of you who are not aware, on September 8th, we lost two of our Cobb County deputies in the line of duty. They were executing a warrant, and they were gunned down in the process of doing that. And if there's one thing that we know about public service and definitely providing public safety, there's a sacrifice. And so on that date, they lost their lives, and there were two families that were irrevocably changed because of that. And I would like to, if we could, do a minute of silence just in recognition of the sacrifice that they gave in doing their job, and then also the sacrifice for our public safety and providing a safe community for us, the sacrifice they put on the line every day. So if you could give a minute of silence in their honor, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. In recognition of Deputy Koleski and Deputy Urban, the two deputies who lost their lives, you can visit the Cobb County Sheriff's Office website to see what's being done for the family or to express your condolences. But once again, I think on behalf of all of the council, we thank all of our public safety and first responders for the job they do. And it does not go without notice to us of the sacrifice to them. And so prayers to the family members of the fallen deputies and to our fellow law enforcement in the Cobb County Sheriff's Department. Thank you.
Thank you, LaTonya. Appreciate that very much. And you might have heard it, but just to clarify, again, it was the Cobb County Sheriff Deputy Jonathan Koleski and Marshall Irvin Jr. So, many folks dedicate their lives to service for our community, but it's our public safety folks who risk their lives every day, and it's a tragic loss, obviously, for our community, for the deputies' families, and for all those folks that know and loved the deputies. So our hearts go out to them. As LaTonya said, the Cobb County Sheriff's Department does have a fund you're welcome and encouraged to donate to that'll support the deputies' families. So thank you. Next item on the agenda is proclamation in recognition of Hispanic Heritage Month. And I'm going to ask Council Member Wilkinson to read the proclamation.
Okay, thank you. First, I'd like to invite up Smyrna citizen Brian Amanza, and he can tell us a few things about himself and about what he's working on, and then I'll read the proclamation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, my fellow Smyrna neighbors. I'm here to bring some festive news about a festival that we're coordinating with the Smyrna. Okay, let me bring this closer. Okay, with the Smyrna Hispanic Committee, we're coordinating a festival to honor our Hispanic neighbors in Smyrna, and we're going to be having different performances, entertainment, a DJ, classical cars for all you car enthusiasts, and just highlighting Hispanic culture in our community. We live in a diverse community made up of different members from different backgrounds. And so we're here today to invite everyone. You don't have to speak Spanish. You don't have to know how to dance salsa. You're welcome. And if you guys can spread the voice, it would mean a lot to the Hispanic community. Okay. Did you want to read the proclamation?
Thank you.
Okay.
So at this time, I'll read the proclamation. By the Mayor of the City of Smyrna in recognition of Hispanic Heritage Month. Whereas during National Hispanic Heritage Month, we recognize the contributions made by Hispanic and Latino Americans in the United States and celebrate their culture and heritage. And whereas with over 60 million Hispanic Americans residing in the United States, Hispanic Americans make up the largest minority group in the nation and have significantly contributed to our government, culture, and economy over the generations. And whereas the Hispanic community in America has made many important advances in areas of law, religion, agriculture, art, music, education, technology, architecture, cuisine, theater, and exploration. And whereas nationally, September 15th through October 15th is National Hispanic Heritage Month, and the focal point for recognizing and celebrating the many achievements of Latino Americans and applauding their proud legacy of service and dedication. And whereas the 2022 theme for Hispanic Heritage Month is Unidos, Inclusivity for a Stronger Nation. And whereas Smyrna's Hispanic American community will celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month through a series of special events featuring Hispanic history, food, dance, and culture, celebrating the rich tradition of many contributions this community has made to the city of Smyrna. And whereas we should appreciate and honor the countless achievements of Hispanic Americans and continue our efforts to ensure our city is a welcoming, inclusive place that provides just, and equal opportunities for all. Now, therefore, I, Derek Norton, Mayor of the City of Smyrna, Georgia, do hereby proclaim September 15th through October 15th, 2022 as Hispanic Heritage Month. And with that, I would like to ask Brian Amanza to read the proclamation in Spanish. Thank you.
En reconocimiento al mes de la herencia hispana, considerando que durante el mes nacional de la herencia hispana reconocemos las contribuciones hechas por hispanos y latinoamericanos en los Estados Unidos, celebramos su cultura y herencia y considerando que con más de 60 millones de hispanoamericanos que residen en los Estados Unidos, los hispanoamericanos constituyen el grupo minoritario más grande de la nación y han contribuido significativamente a nuestro gobierno, cultura y economía a lo largo de las generaciones. Y considerando que la comunidad hispana en los Estados Unidos ha hecho muchos avances importantes en las áreas de derecho, religión, agricultura, arte, música, educación, tecnología, arquitectura, gastronomía, teatro y exploración. Y considerando que a nivel nacional, del 15 de septiembre al 15 de octubre es el mes nacional de la herencia hispana y el punto focal para reconocer y celebrar a los muchos logros de los latinoamericanos y aplaudir su admirable legado de servicio y dedicación. Y considerando que el tema del 2022 para el mes de la herencia hispana es Unidos, inclusividad para una nación más firme, y considerando que la comunidad hispanoamericana de Esmirna celebrará el mes de la herencia hispana a través de una serie de eventos especiales que presentarán la historia, comida, danza y arte hispanos, celebrando la rica tradición y muchas contribuciones que esta comunidad ha hecho a la ciudad de Esmirna, y considerando que debemos apreciar y honrar los innumerables logros de los hispanoamericanos y continuar nuestros esfuerzos para garantizar que nuestra ciudad sea un logro acogedor y inclusivo que brinde oportunidades justas e iguales para todos.
He just sent me a text.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for your work on planning the committee and doing all that, Brian. Appreciate what you do.
Thank
It's
you
a
so
really
much.
important thing for the city.
Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much. Item 3B, proclamation in recognition of Constitution Week, September 17th through the 23rd, 2022, Fielding Lewis Chapter, National Society Daughters of the American Revolution. I think our own Jennifer Bennett is active as a member.
Yes, she is.
Yep. And then we have Linda.
Linda?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
nice to
Linda
see you again.
Lopez. Good to see you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you for having us here.
That was our pleasure. Do you want to say a few words?
I do, always. And thank you for having us. On Saturday, just 2 days ago, September 17th, the Fielding Lewis chapter held a community celebration for Constitution Day in the Glover Park in Marietta. This is a celebration that our chapter is looking at for the entire community, for Cobb County, and we appreciate being here today. 235 years ago, our Constitution was signed in Philadelphia. We want to remember our duty to protect and defend the Constitution and be ever mindful that this document established the basis for the heritage of our country and the foundation for our way of life. The Constitutional Convention had its share of discussions, and the final Constitution incorporated many of those differing points of view. The men who framed this document understood that in order to ratify this document, the 13 states would all have to know that their voices were heard. I'm proud to say that Georgia was the 4th state to ratify the Constitution with a unanimous vote by the Georgia delegates. It is our duty as citizens to study the Constitution and educate ourselves and our community about our rights and responsibilities. Thank you so much to the Smyrna Mayor and City Council for your recognition of Constitution Week.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Councilmember Welch to read the proclamation.
Thank you. And I'll bring it down afterwards.
Okay.
A proclamation by the Mayor of the City of Smyrna, Constitution Week 2022. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, the guardian of our liberties, embodies the principles of limited government in a republic dedicated to the rule by law. And whereas September 17th, 2022 marks the 235th anniversary of the framing of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate it. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designated September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, I, Derek Norton, by virtue of authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Smyrna in the state of Georgia, do hereby proclaim September 17th through September 23rd, 2022 as Constitution Week, and as our citizens, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my seal and caused the seal of the city of Smyrna to be affixed upon this the 19th day of September in the year of our Lord 2022. Derek Norton.
Okay.
Thank y'all for coming out.
Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate what you do and reminding us the importance of the Constitution. And it's nice seeing you here year after year.
Thank you. We
Yeah.
appreciate the support.
Yeah, thank you. Next item, item 3C. We have a really wonderful art display in City Hall, and we had the reception earlier today. And like to ask the artists who are here with us today to come on up. I think this might be at least the third changing of the art display, at least. We're just fortunate to have some really talented folks in the area and have it displayed here in the city. Mr. Bennett is going to read the background, please.
Here. The Smyrna Arts Council and the City of Smyrna have launched a new exhibit of fine art to be displayed in City Hall from August through October 2022. The exhibit features 17 pieces from 8 talented local artists. If you would, if I call your name, please raise your hand. Ms. Mary Bell Cordell, an award-winning, nationally recognized porcelain tile artist, and she is new to our community, so welcome. Veena Raj. Veena is a watercolor artist frequently featured in exhibits throughout Cobb County. Mr. Justin Groom. Mr. Groom is an illustrator exhibiting a large-scale hand-drawn pen and ink piece. Paula Winter. Paula is a former Cobb County school teacher, and she creates unique collage art. Miss Becca McCoy. Becca's a photographer specializing in nature and travel photography. Nanette Perez? Okay, well, thank you. She's actually doing a film. Oh, wonderful. Ms. Perez is a fabric artist with a quilt on display. Mr. Jason Walesh. Mr. Walesh is a pop culture designer and recycled materials collagist and lioness. Lioness is a full-time multidisciplinary artist and creative director of Mutiny Artworks. And again, thank you all. We enjoy working with you, and thank you for the beautiful art that's displayed in City Hall.
Yeah, thanks to the Smyrna's Arts Council for helping make this happen. It's great. Excellent. All right. Done with the fun stuff. Land issues, zonings, and annexations. Item 4A, 2022-145. Public hearing, zoning request Z22-005. Allow rezoning from GC and OI to TS conditional for development of a 107-room hotel and rebranding of a 135-room hotel, 3.115 acres, land lots 846, 880, 881, Morgan Farms Funding LLC, 2855 Spring Hill Parkway, and 2685 Spring Road. This is being tabled at the request of the applicant. Any background, or we're good on that? To ask Mr. Pickens to handle the vote, please.
Motion to table until October 17th.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Pickens, second by Mr. Welch. All in favor? And Ms. Hines, how do you vote?
In favor.
Favor? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Item 4B, 2022-408, public hearing, Z22-008, rezoning from R15 to R10 for a two-lot, single-family subdivision at a density of 3.6 units per acre, 0.548 acres, land lot 561, 2625 Highland Avenue, Joe Callahan. Mr. Bennett, the background.
Thank you, sir. Joe Callahan is requesting a rezoning from R15 residential to R10 residential for a two-lot, single-family detached subdivision. The subject property is zoned R15 and is occupied with a single-family home. The applicant plans to retain the existing home and build a new single-family detached home on the new lot. The Planning and Zoning Board recommended approval by a vote of 6-0 at the August 8, 2022 meeting. The zoning proposal is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan and the future land use plan. Community Development recommends approval.
Pass this to Councilmember Lindley. It's in Ward 3.
Thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Joey to give a more detailed explanation.
All right, good evening. I'm Joey Stobbs, Planner 2 with Community Development. The location is 2625 Highland Avenue. It's at the intersection of Highland and Old Roswell Road. It's a little over half an acre. There's an existing single-family house on the property, and the applicant is requesting to subdivide it from R15 to R10 to add a second single-family detached home on the property. The land use is moderate density residential, which allows up to 4.5 units per acre, and this proposal would be 3.6 units per acre. So it's consistent with everything around it. This is the proposed property. It's one lot now. They're proposing to subdivide the lot. So it'll keep the existing house, build a new house. It'll have the R10 setbacks of front 25, side 7.5, and rear 25. It meets all of those setback requirements. This is where the houses will be. And then the new house will have a side entry garage coming off Old Roswell Road. They will each have individual detention facilities in the property. There will be right-of-way dedication on Old Roswell and on Highland Avenue, and there will be sidewalk along Old Roswell. So there's no variances requested with this application. This is a proposed home elevation, conceptual elevation, and pictures of the subject property and adjacent properties. Community Development recommends approval of the rezoning from R15 to R10 with a density of 3.6 units per acre. The following conditions, standard conditions regarding the architecture. They'll be responsible for any traffic improvements, and they will have to meet our tree ordinance. Standard conditions regarding the R10 setbacks, the minimum lot size of 10,000 square feet, minimum lot width of 50 feet, minimum driveway length of 22 feet. Again, they will provide 5 feet of right-of-way dedication on Highland Avenue and right-of-way dedication on Old Roswell Road. 14, they will have a 5-foot sidewalk and 2-foot grass strip along the property length on Highland Avenue. Maximum height will be 35 feet. And then they will have to meet our fire access requirements, water and sewer requirements, and stormwater requirements. And the last, they will have to be in compliance with the site plan submitted with the application and the architectural elevation submitted with the application. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from anybody? We're good? Mr. Lindley?
I guess we're going to hear from the developer builder.
Yep.
Or Sean.
Oh, I'm sorry, this is a public hearing. Anybody who wants to be? Scott, do that now? Do you want to swear him in? Anybody out here to speak on behalf or against? All right. Seeing none? I'm sorry, I might have missed somebody. Did somebody want to speak in the back? If you could come on up and, do you want to speak? Okay, when you get, if you don't mind, just please get sworn in and then you can decide if you'd like to or not. Thank you, Mr. Cochran.
I'm Sean Murphy. I reside at 3282 Lee Street, Smyrna, Georgia. I'm here representing the applicant. Mr. Kolb apologizes. He is stuck in some kind of crazy traffic on 285 and said he wasn't going to get here in time. I just wanted to briefly mention kind of the process that we went through on this. I don't think we have any opposition tonight, which is a good thing. Most of you are probably familiar with this intersection. It kind of feels like it needs a house. It's a big triangle that's awful deep and a bunch of grass and not much there, and there's been a lot of discussion about what to do with that space over the years. So my client had secured the property, and the person who's standing here behind me is the owner of the property. As was pointed out, there is an existing house. That house will remain. It is not being redeveloped. He may add on to it or something in the future, but that's not part of this application. The new lot that we created is to build one new house, and my clients, we went out to the neighborhood leaders as directed by staff, and we made not one but two changes to make sure they were very happy. We started off with this house actually facing the south, facing the tip of the corner there, because we thought maybe that would be what you all wanted to see, but immediately we got stiff opposition from a couple of the neighbors on the western side who said they didn't want to look at the blank side of the house, and they wanted to look at the front of the house. So we rotated the house, and then we realized that the garage was going to face them, and no other garages really face Highland Avenue there. So we came up with a plan to utilize a side entry garage and connect to Old Roswell Road as the other house does to the north. So we went through two iterations to make everybody in the neighborhood happy, and we were happy to do that, and so we came back to you with the plan that you see here. I would ask, I can't remember, and Eric's here, maybe he was here. I think there's a requirement that the stormwater be a certain distance from the road, but I can't recall what it is. And we would like it, if possible, stipulated tonight that we can put the stormwater detention facilities as shown on this plan. Because what that did is allow us to get us a significant side yard on the new lot. If we have to move that detention back up to get it fully off the road, which I think it might be 25 feet, we lose a lot of the usable road. It's not absolutely necessary, but if somebody would be willing to make that stipulation, we would very much appreciate it. And with that, I yield.
Rusty, I know you're not engineering, but do you have a comment on that?
Of course, the engineer was here and then he left. No, I think if you want to provide staff the latitude to work it out with the developer, that we work that stipulation in to be able to cite it appropriately. And we can work that out with him. I mean, there are requirements from the stormwater manual that require certain setbacks and so forth. So if we can give Eric that discretion during permitting to do that, that'd be wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds. Thank
So-
you, Sean. Appreciate what you do here in the city.
Just to confirm, I know because I had heard and was coordinating with Rusty and Joey, but there were a number of homeowners that had raised initial issues. Those have been resolved.
Yes, and the colonel showed up at the first meeting and was concerned about the elevations that we provided, our generic elevations, but we do understand that we can't do the full hardy siding and all that, and they're completely prepared to meet all the standard stipulations for the siding materials.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Would you like to say anything?
I'm for this.
All right. I like it. Short and sweet. Perfect. Like to make a motion?
If there's no questions
Any
from
other
my
questions from anyone?
colleagues. No, motion do pass as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Welch, second it. All in favor?
For lack of a second.
Ms. Hines, how do you vote?
I'm in favor.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Move on to item 4C, 2022-451, a plat approval. Approval for a 3-lot subdivision under the R15 zoning requirement. Land lot 384, 1.87 acres, 825 Austin Drive, Sue Varon. Mr. Welch, please.
Thank you, Joey. I'm gonna let you go through your spiel on it.
Yes, sir. This is just a plat approval request. It's not a rezoning. It's not any variances. It's just a formal approval of a subdivision. This property is 825 Austin Drive. It's about 2 acres, zoned R15. They're looking to subdivide that property under the R15 requirements. This would be how the property subdivided, be 3 lots. They're all about 20,000 square feet, so well over the 15,000 square foot requirement. We'll have a stormwater management facility at the back that will have stormwater for all of the 3 lots, and have the R15 setbacks, front 35, side 10, and rear 30. No variances required. Staff is recommending approval.
Is the applicant here?
I guess they're not here.
Does not look like it. Good. Any questions from anyone?
I would like to ask Joey something. Is the zoning surrounding it is also R15? Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. It's all R15.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Joey. With that, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 4C, 2022-451 for the plat approval at 825 Austin Drive.
We have a motion, and a second by Mr. Lindley. All in favor, please vote. Yep. Ms. Hines?
I'm in favor.
Thank you. Motion passes 5-0. Excellent, thank you. Item 4D, ORD 2022-18. Approval of ordinance, ORD 2022-18, annexation requests, 100% owners requesting annexation, all tracts or parcels as attached and defined in the issue and background of land lying and being in land lots 396, 397, 398, 399 of the 17th District, 2nd Section, Cobb County, Georgia, 80.31 acres across 8 parcels known as Pebblebrook Road to be effective October 1st, 2022, and part of Ward 7, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, background, please.
Thank you, sir. The 8 mentioned parcels of an effective date of October 1st, 2022 for annexation. Certified letters were sent by the city clerk to the Cobb County Clerk's Office and the Cobb County Community Development Planning Division on August 22nd, 2022. A letter of non-objection was received from Cobb County on September 6th, 2022. Again, this property is located in Ward 7. Staff recommends approval of ordinance ORD 2022-18, the annexation request, 100% owners request an annexation.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. I think the landowners are here. Would you like to say anything?
Not in particular. We are here if you have any questions, but we would love to be a part of Smyrna.
Well, we want to say thank you for wanting to be part of Smyrna, and we're very excited to have you and your family part of our community. So, thank you. With that, Mr. You'd like to make the motion, please?
Yep. I'll make a motion to approve 4D ORD 2022-18.
Mr. Lindley, second it. All in favor? And Ms. Hines?
In favor.
This might have been one of the easiest votes we've ever taken. Thank you very much for joining the city of Smyrna. It's greatly appreciated. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Item 4E, ORD 2022-21, to public hearing. Approval of ORD 2022-21 for code amendments to Appendix A of the zoning ordinance pertaining to townhome design standards with an effective date of October 1st, 2022, and authorize the mayor to review and sign all documents related thereto. Mr. Bennett, background, please.
Thank you, sir. Mayor and council adopted a moratorium on townhome development on March 15th, 2021, to provide an opportunity for the city to review the current standards for townhomes and determine if additional standards are required. The Committee on Townhome Development was created in spring of 2021 and met 6 times over the past 18 months. The committee has researched and reviewed townhome standards for many cities and counties in the metro Atlanta area. The committee developed the proposed townhome design standards to raise the architectural quality and development of townhomes in the city. The proposed ordinance has been posted for the public to review, and a town hall meeting was held on August 23rd, 2022. The Planning and Zoning Board recommended approval by a vote of 7-0 at the September 12th, 2022 meeting. I'll turn it over to Rusty for more.
Good evening. Joe summarized the process, which is the slide pretty much details pretty extensively, so I won't spend much time on it. But this was an iterative process that went back and forth for the past year and a half. We had to extend the moratorium a couple times, but ultimately, I think we developed as a committee a good product that I think everyone's going to be satisfied with. Tonight, I'm just going to give you sort of the broad brush strokes of the ordinance and sort of what issues we were trying to address and how we address those. The purpose of the ordinance is intended to regulate the siting and architectural design of townhome projects in pursuit of cohesive design and walkable development patterns within the city. From the committee's perspective, there wasn't a whole lot of consistency from one townhome development to another through the city, and we wanted to create a document that was going to create that consistency, so you knew that you were in Smyrna, that you had you had standards that you had to meet, and that they were consistent across all projects. The regulations are intended to define elements of development that support both horizontal and vertical articulations and variations among units that provide architectural interests and reinforce high-quality design. And this is with respect to meeting the policy and goals of the city's comprehensive plan. So that's the purpose and intent of the ordinance. It's in the ordinance. It's very clear when the developers and home builders come in that's what we're trying to achieve with these requirements. So what's in the ordinance? We first added architectural definitions to the zoning ordinance to clearly define architectural elements such as balconies, patios, fenestration, window systems, stuff like that. In addition, we added a section that dealt specifically with what does this apply to? And this is going to apply to all new townhome developments with respect to any zoning district that allows townhomes. So your RDA district, your RM districts, your residential townhouse, residential duplex, and your mixed use and CBD districts. Then we created a section that required minimum architectural design requirements no matter what. And these deal with facade materials, building articulation, roof pitches, roof styles, garage designs, window requirements, and screening of mechanical equipment. Some of the big points with respect to that are we are now requiring a minimum of 2 stories of brick or stone facade on the front and sides of the building that are visible from the city right away. We're also requiring roof pitches to be larger than 612. So there's a lot of detailed requirements that go into this, and the home builders are going to have to meet all those requirements in addition to site stuff. In addition, there were some elements that we wanted to address, so we put them into a design element catalog, and it provides a menu of items under specific categories, and the home builders are going to be able to pick at least one item from each of those categories and provide those for each unit. And those deal with private outdoor space, architectural projection, roof elements, and then variation amongst the units and facades. The next section dealt with the bulk standards, and these are your primary zoning standards. So your setbacks, building separation, building height, unit floor area, unit width, and lot configuration. So we set the minimum building separation or building setbacks from the adjoining property lines as well as within the development. And we set the front setback for front entry garage to 20 feet from basically the right-of-way line. And for front entry homes, and then for rear entry homes, we set that front setback at 10 feet. So we're trying to shrink the scale of impact from the development in the right-of-way. The building separations, the most notable change for that is reducing the distance from side to side from 30 feet down to 20 feet. The building height is increasing from 35 feet up to 45 feet, and that's really to allow for rooftop terraces to be allowed by right. We also reduce the minimum floor area for a unit from 1,500 square feet to 1,000 square feet. And that's to provide a home builder, if they do want to provide an affordable product, that they're not set to meeting a minimum floor area requirement, and they can they can provide some units that are a little bit smaller. And finally, the unit width is now set at 24 feet as the minimum width for all units within a townhome development. The next section we added dealt with live-work units. We recognize the opportunity to provide some live-work units where an owner of a property can also operate a business out of the bottom floor of that unit. And it sets minimum requirements for that unit. So the minimum floor area for the total unit is 2,400 square feet. The bottom floor where the commercial space has to be a minimum 500 square feet. And these units are only allowed in CBD in the mixed-use districts. So in the downtown area or within developments that are designed to have a mixture of commercial and residential uses. And as I stated before, the unit has to be owner occupied and the business has to be operated by the owner. The owner can't operate cannot lease out the space to somebody else. Then we provided a section that dealt with site development standards, and those primarily deal with the use of the unit, the building orientation towards the street, the driveways and street design. So we have standards for the street profile, open space requirements, utility requirements, parking, fire accessibility, and HOA requirements. So those are all dealt with in that section. And then finally, we're requiring when a development comes to the city, they got to come through the zoning process and provide a minimum level of information to you guys that deals with a site plan, landscape plan, amenity plan, and then some building elevations. And that's about all I have for you. I'll be happy to answer any questions. And obviously, you guys have the formal code with all the proposed amendments and everything. So if you want to speak to something specifically, we can deal with that as well.
Thank you, Rusty. Just a comment. I know you and your department worked awfully hard on this, right, pulling information together for the committee. And so folks know the committee was chaired by Councilmember Lindley, who was myself, and Mr. Welch on the committee. And yeah, a lot of work by staff to put in to come back with ultimately to land on these recommendations. So we appreciate your work. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to committee chair, Mr. Lindley.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Gould, and thank you, Joey and Rusty. I know as noted, y'all spent a lot of work on this, and I think it answers the call that this council and the government had been asked to do for many years. So I want to thank you. We purposely took every bit of the year, and I think the end result will be a product that moves us forward and something our residents and citizens will be happy with. One question for Mr. Cochran, and Rusty, you may know the answer too, but I thought at the last meeting we extended the moratorium to expire tomorrow, and I note on the agenda that this goes into effect October 1st, so I believe there is a discrepancy there in those dates. It was meant to coincide, I believe. So do we need to amend as part of the motion that it goes into effect tomorrow?
That'd probably be the safest thing to do. Yeah, that'd probably be the way to do it.
And this is a public hearing, so we'll call for a public hearing before you make a motion.
All right.
But before we have the offer public hearing, any comments from council yet? Or okay. It is a public hearing. Does anybody would like to speak for or against this item? All right, seeing none, back to Mr. Lindley.
So with that, I motion do pass with the change that the effect date is tomorrow, September 20th, 2022.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pickens. All in favor? Ms. Hines?
In favor.
Motion passes 5-0. Thanks a lot, Rusty. Appreciate you working, Joey. All right, item 6A, item 5, no privilege licenses. Item 6A, ORD 2022-19, first approval of charter amendment adopting the redistricting plan subsequent to the 2020 decennial census and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Thank you, Mr. Gould. As a result of the 2020 census, the boundaries of the city of Smyrna, Georgia's 7 council-person wards require redistricting in accordance with applicable state and federal law. The mayor and city council, also known as the governing body of the city, have engaged redistricting legal experts and consultants to assist the city in its redistricting efforts, and the governing body now desires to amend the city charter to adopt this redistricting plan. Authorize the amendment of Article 3, Division 1, Section 6C of its charter of the city, of the Smyrna City Charter to adopt this redistricting plan made subsequent to the 2020 decennial census and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Turn it over to Councilmember Lindley, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. So we have, the council and staff have sort of waded through this with the consultant for several months now. There was a town hall meeting, and there's been a number of discussions on it. At the last CAL meeting, I guess, which would have, or 2 CAL meetings ago, I know the council sort of looked at it, and there was unanimous consent among council. So with that, motion to adopt is presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Pickens. All in favor, please vote. Ms. Hines, how do you vote?
In favor. Thank you.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Item 6B, 2022-462, authorization for change order 1,000 in the amount of $56,285.90 to Ardito Construction of 1290 Austell Road, Marietta, Georgia 3008, for the drainage work at 3307 Fieldwood Drive and 3309 Fieldwood Drive, Smyrna, to be paid from the Capital Outlay Stormwater Infrastructure and Stormwater Project, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Yes, sir. The city had to expand the original scope of work from what was originally approved due to adverse conditions from neighboring properties. The city realized the project was much larger once work began, and the addition of a large rain event brought these issues further into focus. While on site, it was deemed necessary to resolve all issues at once. Connecting the original approved scope of work was not sufficient and would not have resolved the additional issues. Public Works and Purchasing recommend authorization for this change order.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Pickens, please.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve 6B, 2022-462 to address a stormwater infrastructure issue.
Seconded by Mr. Lindley. All in favor? Ms. Hines, how do you vote?
In favor.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Item 6C, RFQ 23-003, approval to award RFQ 23-003 citywide resurfacing project bid to Magnum Paving LLC, 140 Baker Industrial Court, Villa Rica, Georgia, 3018, in the amount of $1,328,883.10, and authorize a total of up to $1,434,145, $523,031.85 LMIG, and $911.113.15 SPLOST for paving and resurfacing of 14 city streets: Vineyard Way, Bordeaux Walk, Lake Drive, Terry Meyer Drive, Emery Road, Wooddale Drive, Cliffcrest Drive, Mill Pond Road, Afton Way, Woodruff Drive, Cumberland Valley Drive, Shenandoah Valley Lane, Napa Valley Court, Laurel Springs Way, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Thank you, sir. The City of Smyrna requested bids for various resurfacing projects per the city's time frame. 2 bids were received on Friday, August 5th, 2022. Magnum Paving LLC, its bid was $1,694,603.45, while C.W. Matthews Contracting Company Incorporated's bid was $1,784,129.86. Public Works and Purchasing recommend approval to award RFQ 23-003 citywide resurfacing project bid to Magnum Paving LLC at 140 Baker Industrial Court, Villa Rica, Georgia, in the amount of $1,434,145.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Ask Councilmember Wilkinson to handle this item, please.
I move to approve item 6C, RFQ 23-003. I won't read it all, but I'll read the first part. Approval to award RFQ 23-003 citywide resurfacing project to Magnum Paving LLC for the amount of $1.434 million and and $145, and for the 14 streets that were read. Okay.
Yes. Susan, could you repeat the first amount of 1.3 million and then the 1.4 million?
Oh, okay. Well, I just heard Joe just mention the total. Is that right? So that's why I just read the total, but it's for
the amount of the bid is 1.328 with a total authorization of 1.4, but the bid award is in the amount of 1.328883.
Okay, you want me to read both amounts then? Or I need to do that? Okay, so move to approve item 6C for the amounts of $1.328,883,010 and authorize a total of up to $1.4,340,145 from the to come out. Well, part of it to come out of LMIG, and the other from the SPLOST. Do I need to read those amounts too from the LMIG?
Good, I think.
Okay, thanks.
Excellent. Excellent. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second for Mr. Pickens. All in favor? Ms. Hines? Ms. Hines,
favor.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. Motion passes 5-0. And I think Ms. Hines is going to have to step away for the evening. Thank you, Latonia, for joining us. Item 6D, 2022-474, authorization for emergency sewer lining of Concord Road, Manson Avenue, Fawn Lane, Highview Drive, and Rosedale by Utility Asset Management Incorporated, Perry, Georgia, 31069, in the amount of $104,705 to be paid out of the water sewer CIP fund. Mr. Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I'd like to make a motion to approve item 6D 202.
Let me do the background. Sorry. Need a background?
Thought you turned it over to me.
I did, but Mr. Bennett was supposed to do the background. We're good?
I can, gentlemen. The Public Works Water Distribution and Collection 10-year plan includes up to 25 miles each year of inspection and cleaning and emergency repairs. We will follow that up with preventive maintenance and repairs. These emergency repairs consisted of 1,600 linear feet out of the 130,000 linear feet inspected.
Now, Mr. Welch.
Are we ready now?
It's all yours.
I'd like to make a motion to approve item 6D, authorization for emergency lining of Concord Road and several other streets by Utility Asset Management of Perry, Georgia.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Wilkinson, seconded. All in favor? Motion passes 4-0. No commercial building permits tonight. Move on to the item 8, consent agenda. Mr. Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Gould. Item 8A, MIN 2022-62, approval of the August 11th, 2022 Committee of the Whole meeting minutes. Item 8B, MIN 2022-63, approval of the August 15th, 2022 pre-council meeting minutes. Item 8C, MIN 2022-64, approval of the August 15th, 2022 mayor and council meeting minutes. Item 8D, 2022-456, approval of the appointment of Ward 5 resident Corey Ingram to the Parks and Recreation Commission to fulfill the term that expires 12/31/2023. This is Ward 5, Ms. Wilkinson's appointee. Item 8E, approval to use council chambers for Concord Lake Village Annual Homeowners Association meeting. This meeting is to be held Thursday, November 10th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Item 8F, approval of stop signs at the intersection of Gilbert Street and Riley's Walk, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute any related documents. 8G, 2022-437, approval of raised pedestrian crossing on King Springs Road in the vicinity of Brinkley Park and Tollison Park, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. 8H, 2022-439, approval of speed humps on Wells Drive, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. 8I, 2022-438, authorize Atkins Park Tavern, Zuka Bar and Pizzeria, Vintage Tavern, the Corner Taqueria, the Stout Brothers, Cafe Lucia, and the Vineyard Wine Market, Smyrna Village Bourbon and Cigar, to operate alcohol sales stations and trailers outside of their respective businesses, beyond adjacent to their licensed places of business at the following approved event: the City of Smyrna Culture and Spirit Festival and 150th birthday celebration, to be held from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. on Saturday, October 8th, 2022. Item 8J, approval of Item 8J, 2022-459, approval of 2022 Hispanic Heritage Celebration street closings for the starting Friday, October 14th, 2022 at 6 a.m. until Saturday, October 15th, 2022 at 11:59 p.m. at King Street from Bank Street to Stevens Street, at Bank Street from Village Walk to King Street, and at West Spring Street. Item 8K, 2022-460, approval of the 2022 modified Crown Castle site lease agreement, BU 8442-GA2383, Smyrna Police Fire, 2646 Atlanta Road, Smyrna, Georgia. Site lease agreement dated January 9th, 1997, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. And finally, 8L, 2022-472, authorization for temporary closure of the crossover from Ward Street at Windy Hill for utility and shoring construction from 9/17/2022 to 10/2/2022.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Well done. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda? Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Lindley, second by Mr. Pickens. All in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Move on to committee and ward reports, and start with Mr. Pickens.
Thank you. Just a reminder that there'll be a joint town hall for wards 1, 2, and 3, October 18th at 7 p.m. in this room.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Lindley?
Thank you, Sub-Mayor. Just to reiterate, Mr. Pickens, we will have a joint town hall for wards 1, 2, and 3 here at City Hall at 7 p.m. on 10/18. Yesterday, the sub-mayor and I had the opportunity to attend the 50th anniversary of Griffin Middle School, and I'm a proud alumni of Griffin, so it was good to visit the campus and see how much it had changed and grown, and how, in fact, it was actually a small building when I was there. And then recently had the opportunity to travel abroad, saw some amazing things, but it was great to come home to Smyrna. So with that, I yield.
Thank you, Mr.
So,
Lindley.
Mayor.
Pleasure as always. Mr. Welch.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, no report this afternoon.
Excellent. Thank you. Appreciate that answer. Ms. Wilkinson.
I'm going to talk a little bit more. I want to thank all the citizens that came out for the Ward 5 Neighborhood Town Hall meeting on Sunday. I think it was a really good meeting, and I appreciate their time coming out on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. I also want to thank the Smyrna City staff that came and presented. That would be Community Development Director Rusty Martin, who presented on a lot of the things that are going on in his department. Also, Lieutenant Lewis Defense gave a presentation from the Smyrna Police Department, and Paul Osborne gave us a discussion and talk about Smyrna, updates on Smyrna roads and construction, and I think it turned out to be a really good meeting. I also had 2 citizens of Ward 5 come and speak about some happenings in Smyrna, and I want to thank them as well. That's Brian Monzo, and I said Ward 5, he grew up in Ward 5 on Powder Spring Street, went to Campbell High School. He now lives in Ward 3, but his parents still live in Ward 5. And I also want to thank Becca McCoy, who's a Ward 5 citizen as well, who came and talked about the Smyrna Arts Council. And both of them happened to be here tonight, so that was a coincidence. But I want to thank them for coming to the meeting and speaking to the citizens of Ward 5. And with that, I yield.
Good. Thank you, Ms. Wilkinson. Mr. Bennett?
No, sir.
No. Scott or Penny? Anybody? Jill, any comments? Okay, thanks for filling in today. Doing an outstanding job. Thank you. So public citizen input, we have one person signed up, Chrissa Blue. Welcome. Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Chrissa Blue, and I reside at 231 Windy Ridge Lane.
Thank you.
I have a PowerPoint. They told me to go home and print it out for you.
Sure.
And a reference letter. Okay, so we would like to present our project to the city of Smyrna. We're a group of Georgia realtors, and we are all members of the Cobb Association Board of Realtors. We're a nonprofit organization, and we also host events and charity events, such as toys drives and Thanksgiving drives, and also clean up Cobb County, keep Smyrna beautiful. We would like to present the benefits of community gardens in our area. We decided to go for a community organization, cultural opportunities, outdoor education for classroom settings, food production, health, and green space of Smyrna. When COVID-19 impacted the pandemic, it increased the food prices. We're seeing the inflation surges over 10% in the past year, 5.2% increased for next year's, and the food price index estimates that's going to increase another 3.2%. We're also seeing eviction rises in our county that rose by 7% from last year. We're also seeing a gradual increase in SNAP household benefits and applications that rose by 7% last year. And we're looking to expand Cobb County to link with the land banks to receive the land and start community gardens. By starting this community garden, this will be able to help the households increase the food insecurity and the housing insecurity. We want to help those who have experienced unemployment. We want to help the disproportionate impacted households. And we also want to repurpose vacant rooftop buildings and vacant lots in the near future. Our key performance indicators are our program will consider 400 households are anticipated to receive accessible and affordable fruit and vegetables, 400 students to participate in after-school food education, 600 households to save $140 and between $400 in food expenses, and most importantly, the disproportionate communities within Cobb County to receive care packages of organic fruit and vegetables. Let me see. Okay, and I believe that is it. I had an entire PowerPoint, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
But yes, we would like to partner with the city of Smyrna to assist us in the land and helping us to.
Have you
start
been in contact with city staff yet?
I have, but I believe it was with Cobb County.
With Cobb County, okay, sure. I think maybe if you want to give Mr. Bennett your contact information.
Okay.
And I'm sure somebody, the appropriate person, be a good conversation and try to find a spot and see if there's a good match. I mean, it's a wonderful idea. I know there one in Cobb County off of Cooper Lake Road. There's a community garden there that seems to be thriving, and it's probably going right after the same objectives and goals and seeing the same type of challenges, right? So,
Yes.
yeah, I appreciate you doing this.
Yes, sir. Thank
Ms.
you.
Masheri, can you get her in contact with KSB? Thank you.
Yeah. So KSB keeps doing a beautiful, wonderful organization here in the city. It might be a great group of people to partner with. But
Yes.
by all, please reach out. Definitely.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's the only person signed up for citizen input. Appreciate you being here. Adjourn the meeting at 8:12.